Hello and welcome to the TEL Teams video on COVID-19 teaching and learning online. You'll hear several members of the TEL team talking about different aspects of moving your teaching and learning online in the next few minutes. The purpose of this video is to help complement our existing resources and to help you think about how you might move your learning and teaching online in the current circumstances. Perhaps to think about alternative approaches to your face-to-face delivery, what practical adjustments you'll need to make to your online teaching, and the tools we've got available for either live or asynchronous delivery.
We've outlined here some of the first things to consider when teaching online. Firstly, prioritise to cover the essentials. Set realistic expectations of yourself and prioritise what you feel is important to cover with your students. Use tools you're already comfortable with. In this video, we've tried to focus on tools which are available to everyone. We've also provided help sheets and resources on our TEL help page. Offering a mix of self-directed and real-time options and various delivery types will help to keep student engagement levels up and encourage students to continue engaging with the content that you're offering. Keep things simple, but don't be afraid to try something different, something new. There are many TEL tools available which might help you and your students in the coming weeks, and we'd encourage a simple approach, but we also offer a range of other support materials, as we say, on our TEL Blackboard help page if you'd like to try out a slightly different tool. Work with your colleagues, make use of your professional networks and find out how others are delivering and sharing their advice and get support from those around you. And then finally, managing student expectations. Work in partnership with your students and find out as you go the tools that suit them and what is and isn't effective. So on this slide are some of the basic things that you're going to need in order to work and teach remotely. You need a laptop or PC. A headset with a mic is an excellent piece of equipment, allowing you to sort of speak with your students online. A webcam if you want them to be able to see your face or head and shoulders on the screen. And lastly, a really sort of stable internet connection. A wired internet connection is always preferable.
The immediate action is to look at your Blackboard course. You may be adding additional content or thinking about the structure of what you already have. We recommend that you think about these three areas: navigation, signposting, and sequencing of your content. When it comes to navigation, can students easily find what they need? Are the folders and files well named? Group contents logically. For example, put the most important items at the top of a content list. This is a simple tweak that can have a big impact for students and their ability to find what they need to continue their learning. When thinking about signposting your content, are students clear about what they're being asked to do and why? Do students know when and how they should complete the tasks? The announcements tool provides a course notice board where you can post messages about what students need to be doing. And then finally, when sequencing your content, offer students a path through the learning materials. Short video introductions are great for giving instructions and letting students know exactly what it is they need to do. Structure any online activities using the eTivities framework and use as a checklist when you're uploading content. Explain the purpose of activities, set clear tasks linked to outcomes.
Think about how you want to maintain contact and encourage engagement with your students. Start with some welcoming and inclusive communications, possibly using the announcements tool, setting up discussion boards and providing a talking head video are some of the key things that we think can help with this. If you're making announcements, use this as your module notice board. Alert students to what's going on in the course, give them some timely announcements to help make the course feel current. And we'd also suggest that you don't tick the box to send everything as email when you're making announcements, only leave that for more urgent communications. And also keep your announcements short, focused and direct. When you're thinking about using discussion boards, you can set these up really easily within Blackboard and use this as a shared space for staff and students to post communications. Obviously, your students might be using other options to communicate with each other, but you'll want somewhere where students can officially take part in discussions. And you could use that to help manage frequently asked questions, hold informal group conversations, or allow students to share resources they found for given topics. It works really well on the Blackboard mobile app. And you'll just need to set expectations around when you'll read and perhaps reply to contributions, so they're not expecting you to be available all of the time. Talking head videos are another great way to personalize your Blackboard content area and really give a sort of personal feel to your communications. And you can do this just with your webcam. They can be short, just be authentic, keep a nice conversational tone, keep it friendly, and use it to provide introductions to tasks or topics you're producing, or just to give feedback, general feedback to students on things they're working on. And don't worry, it doesn't need to be perfect. Quick and dirty, a 10-minute video should only really take about 10 minutes to record.
So lectures, seminars and one-to-ones. If you're thinking of replacing your lectures and seminars with online delivery, there are two methods that you could use. You could record what you would have done as a lecture and then signpost the students to this, and this is known as a screencast. PowerPoint's a really good tool for producing screencasts, and it's freely available to all staff and students at the university. It's a really flexible mode of delivery for students because they can listen whenever they like. And as a lecturer, you can deliver all sorts of different content through screencasts, and anything you do produce can be reused or revisited for revision purposes, for example. You'll ideally want to avoid replicating an entire 2-hour lecture in a screencast. Try to keep them short, informal, conversational, and then perhaps follow up the screencast with or supplement it with more discursive activities later on. Our second option for lecture and seminar delivery are webinars. Webinars are live and your students join you in an online room, but webinars can also be recorded for later reference. Blackboard Collaborate is ideal for this and is available to everyone at the university and accessible through your Blackboard modules. As webinars are a synchronous form of delivery and students are present, you'll have the opportunity for immediate feedback from your students, which can be really useful when delivering content. With everyone being together, webinars are a really good way of maintaining a sense of community and that group cohesion outside of the classroom. Other top tips, you could set up virtual office hours. You can also share your screen within a webinar if you need to demonstrate something in particular. And additionally, there's a whiteboard tool which all participants on the webinar are able to contribute to. This can increase interactivity and help to ensure students contribute to the learning experience on a webinar.
Blackboard offers a range of activities to support asynchronous delivery. Blackboard tests are a good way for students to self-assess and get immediate feedback. The benefit of Blackboard tests is that they can be reused at a later date. Consider using informal submission points to keep track of student work. You could use these as an informal Dropbox to collect work that students might have been completing outside of the live teaching. This is particularly useful for items which are not going to be marked. It allows you to organise, collate and respond to work. You could give a generic all-group feedback on a group of submissions, perhaps with a talking head or a post in the announcement tool. This would save you having to look at each individual submission, but would give students an overview of the sorts of themes that were cropping up in the work that they were completing. And finally, think about Blackboard groups. These are collaborative spaces for students to use tools and co-author. It offers a private space for students to interact with other members of the group and their tutor as well. Here we'll look at some other tools for online activity, and these are really quick to implement. So the first thing we'll talk about is LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning offers a wide range of online tutorials on using different software and essential skills on a wide range of subjects. The benefit here is that students can study at their own pace, and you can choose key resources for your students to use. The videos that you find here can be embedded into your Blackboard course. The second tool I'm going to mention is Bob. This stands for Box of Broadcasts. This is essentially a database of over 2 million TV and radio broadcasts. And you can also record upcoming programs or choose from their archive. You can also make clips of the recordings you find, and those can be embedded into Blackboard. And please be aware that these are only available to watch in the UK. And the final thing to mention here is the Tallis online reading lists. These reading lists link to items in the library catalogue. We recommend that you curate the materials that you have here and just make sure that the reading list is up to date for students.
And to round off, we just thought we'd point you towards some further resources that we think will be helpful. We've got our dedicated TEL page on COVID-19 guidance for teaching remotely. There's also a dedicated Blackboard Collaborate help page to think about planning, setting up and running your webinars successfully. And there's the link to LinkedIn Learning, which you can log in with your university username and password. It's also available in Office 365 under the All Apps option. And don't forget about DTS's guidance on working remotely with lots of helpful tips and suggestions. Thank you for listening.